Hey, welcome fellow pagans and occultists to another episode of A Pagan Sanctuary, where all things pagan and Titan are discussed and possibly revealed. Thank you to everyone who has watched my previous videos. I really hope you enjoyed them. If you enjoyed these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below and hit the notification bell to be sure you can be notified of all new postings. Also, if you enjoyed this video or have comments or questions to anything covered, please feel free to mention it in the comment section below and I will make every effort to get back to you. So, now on to today's video, which I really hope you enjoy. In this video, we're going to discuss the next chapter of the book, The Arcane Titans, Hidden Origin and Return, by Finn Liath. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and enjoy. Let's get started. Before we get started, I need to mention there is culturally sensitive language in this chapter, so just a little trigger warning for anybody out there who might get triggered by such words. The Dual Arcane Titan. In the soul realm, there exists the Hall of Souls, wherein lies the soul pool. The soul pool is where souls must go to wait for a new cycle, the period of time in which an entity's existence begins until it enters the soul pool to be recycled to begin a new existence. Every physical entity has a soul, for life cannot exist without a soul. Those who have connectivity with their soul may experience interaction with other souls in the soul realm while maintaining a physical existence. The soul of a connected physical entity is referred to as a spirit walker, as it is spirit that facilitates connection of physical and soul. An entity that exists exclusively in the soul realm is referred to as a soul walker. The dual arcane titan Glishnan determined that the most effective way to accumulate knowledge, training, and power was to experience a multitude of existences in diverse forms, mostly humanoid-like. When Glishnan was satisfied that he had learned and gained all he could in a certain form, he would sever his spirit connection to that physical body and enter the soul pool to begin a new cycle in a different form. The dual arcane titan went through a near infinite number of cycles, in each cycle retaining knowledge, memory, and the power of the previous cycles. In one particular cycle, in which he was named Lenthos, the dual arcane titan received serious mortal injury to the left side of his head and face during a battle. The wound had damaged his left eye and part of his left ear. Lenthos killed his opponent but knew that his own death was imminent. Just before his physical body died, he severed his spirit connection to it. Unfortunately, the damage to the left side of his head and face had carried over into his next cycle, and he gradually became worse. The cycle after that, he was nearly blind and deaf in his left side and born with a scar of the wound he received. It was during that cycle that he was named Thenelon. Thenelon did not allow his deformity to hamper him. Rather, he embraced it, adapted, and excelled. The scar gave him a sinister appearance that stirred fear in his opponents. He came to be a strong, fast, powerful, and extremely intelligent warrior. Kronos, being ruler of Titans, knew that Thenelon was the dual arcane titan. When Thenelon attained adulthood, Kronos appeared and put before him an important task. Kronos wanted Thenelon to collect from throughout the multiverse 1,000 of the most intelligent, skilled, and powerful titans that he could find and bring them to Terra. For Kronos knew Thenelon possessed the power and ability to transport himself and others across great distances, and he was quite familiar with a substantial portion of the multiverse. So began Thenelon's quest. During the Thenelon quest, he visited a planet of fierce warriors called Jem'Hadar. Despite his sinister appearance, Tilani, daughter of Jem'Hadar's ruler, became enamored with Thenelon. Even though Tilani knew that Thenelon would have to leave eventually, she wanted to marry him and have his children. She expressed her desire to Thenelon and to her parents. Shortly thereafter, Thenelon married Tilani. Though he had to complete his quest, Thenelon swore to Tilani that he would return when and as often as he could. Thenelon completed his quest according to Kronos' specifications and brought the 1,000 Titans to Terra. Once assembled, Kronos instructed them of their purpose for being brought to Terra. They were to educate and train the inhabitants of Terra, all they could. They were to construct multiple portals to facilitate transportation to and from specific planets and other locations. Thenelon and his 1,000 Titans would collectively be known as Aryans, givers of light, knowledge. The Aryans did as Kronos had instructed. Okay, we're going to start off here talking about the Hall of Souls. The soul pool, it's where soul goes when an entity dies. In my opinion, basically interpretation or opinion of the soul pool is everything has a soul. Whether it's a plant, a human, an animal, a tree, everything has a soul. You know, when you cut a tree down, you know, some woodsman will say, you know, the tree is bleeding out. It's crying, it's bleeding out. And others will say, well, it's just water. Water's running out of it and draining out onto the ground. Well, water is the tree's lifeblood. It's what helps it grow. It's what helps it stay alive and exist. Just same as blood is for a human. You know, when you get severely cut or your leg cut off, you bleed out the same way, and if you don't stem that bleeding, then you will die, as same as the tree. So that is my opinion, that, you know, everything has a soul, and when that entity dies, the soul goes to the soul pool. Okay, that's not to say that there aren't souls, you know, floating around. Some people misinterpret it as a spirit, you know, or a ghost. Those are, you know, the energy of a deceased entity, and it's technically their soul. And some do not go, parentheses, to the light, like some believe, and they just wander around because technically they have unfinished business, or they're just not ready to go and be reinserted again. Here in this chapter, he says the soul of a connected physical entity is referred to as a spirit walker. That's technically a soul that's connected to a human, and the human is alive, functioning, and doing their thing. They're just called spirit walkers. Next, we get to where he talks about the dual arcane titan named Glishnan. You know, in the previous chapters, he merged the two halves together, Glishnan and Norknan, to escape Terr-Nor. And here he starts to go out and get further his training as the dual arcane titan. He wants to be stronger, faster. So he, you know, slips in and out of physical forms because he's strictly a floating soul at the time, and he can just slip in and out and do his thing. Say if someone has a medical emergency where they pass away and then they're brought back to life, in that little period of time to when they're deceased, he can slip in and bring that physical back to life, and then now that physical is what other people know as this person, but really its soul is Thenelon, and he goes on and he learns through that physical's existence. Then he talks about when the one of the cycles that the dual Arcane Titan was in, he was going under the name Lenthos, and he was in battle, and he received a wound to the left side of his head, which affected his eye and his left ear. Now it says when he received this and he was dying, and when he came back as another existence, because he ended his physical's existence before it was naturally supposed to die, the wound that he received marked his soul, because he wasn't able to cleanse it when his soul and his physical separated. Usually the soul can cleanse itself. This way he didn't, because he ended it on his terms. He ended before the physical was dead. So unfortunately he retained that wound, and was going to be stuck with it for eternity, as what gets revealed later on in the book here. And then a little bit further on here, he talks about Cronus being the ruler of Titans. He's gonna start doing his thing and making his mark on history. So he has Thenelon, and he knows that he's the dual Arcane Titan. So he sends him out on a task. This is where things in here on this planet, its past starts to evolve into what we're talking about here. And Kronos goes out and tells Thenelon to collect 1,000 of his smartest, most skilled and powerful Titans that he could find and bring them to Terra. Terra is also the name for Earth. And when he brings them here, Kronos tells him what he wants them to do, and to teach the inhabitants of this planet how to survive. As we had discussed before, when man, or man and woman, but when humans were first put on this planet, they were basically mind wiped. From my experience and what I've been able to learn through connecting to the ether side, that this planet was originally like an exile planet, or a prison colony, if you will. Those who were punished were mind wiped and set here to improve their life, sort of like a penance. They had to start again and prove themselves worthy. And when those 1,000 Aryans were brought here, or 1,000 soldiers were brought here, they were called the Aryans from there on, because they were the givers of knowledge and intellect and physical ability and things like that. And that's when humans on this planet first learned how to do cave drawings, how to make fire, harvest plants for food, harvest animals for food, how to use parts of the animal for the things like the stomach used for a water bladder to carry water, and things like that. And that's where the Aryans come in, and they're a pretty important part, because they not only just build the portals to transport around, which today we're still finding these strange portals which are now inert, but they're still out there. Now, in Thenelon's quest to find these fierce warriors and intellectually advanced people, he runs across a female entity of Tilani, the daughter of Jem'Hadar's ruler. It was basically love at first sight. He couldn't be without her. She didn't want to be without him. And you have to understand, in those times, there wasn't a whole lot of courting period and stuff like that. But you still needed the parents' blessing at the time, because it was a patriarchal society where the man of the family, he called all the shots. If he said you could get married, you could get married. If he said you couldn't, you had to leave it, and that was it. It was done, or you suffered the consequences. Not saying it's right or it's wrong, but that's how things were then. So at that point in time, it was the thing to do, and it was right. So it was practiced, and was practiced throughout millennia and eons until, more modern history here of, upwards of about 100 years ago, they started getting out of that practice. Okay, I have to apologize a little bit for jumping around a little bit there. Kind of got the order mixed up, I think. Got a little carried away on my conversation because this book is just very intriguing, very excited about what's going on. So, hey, stick with me, because I tell you, I really can't wait to hear what happens next. Well, that does it for this chapter of the book, The Arcane Titans, Hidden Origin and Return, by Finn Liath. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video. Please feel free to tell your friends about it and help spread the word. I hope you enjoyed it and was able to take something away from it. I know I did. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons below, and maybe hit the notification bell so you stay informed of future postings. If you have questions or comments about what was covered, or have ideas on how I can make these videos better, please leave them below in the comment section, and I will make every effort to get back to you. We will see you next time. Stay well and be blessed.